Good evening, everyone. Let me go ahead and call this to order. I call to order this meeting of the Citizens Advisory Council for January 27th, 2022. I am Orel Henry, Chair of the Citizens Advisory Council, affectionately known as the CAC. We will start with roll call of the CAC. So members, if you don't mind, as I call your name, say either here or present. Jessica Wynn.
Present.
Kaishona Person. Warren Boone.
Present.
Donald Belton.
Present.
Tim Andrew.
I'm here, present.
Jason Hicks. Dr. Kelly Jackson.
Present.
And Mr. Robert Sims.
Present.
All right. And of course, I am here. Before we get started, let's have a word of prayer. So, Mr. Warren Boone, would you lead us in prayer?
Yeah, sure. Let's go before the Father. Father in heaven, we honor you. We thank you for this time. Thank you, God, that it's the start of a new year, God, a new season, new ideas, new way of doing things, Father. We seek you for direction and guidance, God. Order our steps in the ways of truth, Father. We just love you again, and we just thank you again for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 All right, that being said, it's a new year, guys. It's good to see you guys. Hopefully we'll be doing this soon in person in the next few months, hopefully. In the meantime, for those of you, before we start into the agenda items, what I would like to do is for those that may be new that's listening to us right now as we're live streaming, I would just like to give a brief overview of the CAC. So for the CAC, the purpose of us here at the CAC is to provide a two-way communication between the City Council and the citizens of High Point. We serve as a forum to hear and screen you, the citizens' concerns and priorities, and serve as an advisory body to the City Council to study, advise, and recommend concerns of the city and its citizens. That being said, we are appointed by the mayor and City Council. So those of you that you see on here, we are appointed by one of them. So we represent a ward. This is in your community. So we represent a ward or at large for you, the citizens, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So the first on the agenda is the minutes. Have y'all had a chance to read the minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes, or do we need to have a discussion first?
I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right. There's a motion has been granted, and there was a second. Is there any discussions? All right. So let's go on the roll. Mr. Of course, Jessica Wynn, I'm pretty sure you would say aye. Say aye or nay. Jessica Wynn. Let's see. Warren Boone.
Yes.
Mr. Donald Belton.
Yes.
Tim Andrews.
Andrew, aye.
Andrew, I'm sorry. All right. Jason Hicks. Mr. Robert Sims.
Aye.
All right. And I'm an aye as well. Motion carries. Okay.
Arel, can you, the person that made the motion and second, can you just sort of repeat your name so that whenever we're taking the minutes, we'll know who you are?
I believe I.
Tim, yeah,
motion.
Tim Andrew, correct. Tim Andrew, and I believe Jessica Wynn seconded.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next on the agenda is old business. Are there any neighborhood updates?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is Rob Sims, and I have the updates for the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association.
Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. The Burns Hill Neighborhood Association, we are meeting in person We're meeting the second Mondays of each month. The next meeting is going to be held on February the 14th. It's going to be held at 6 p.m. at the Moorhead Recreation Center. We're also in the planning stages of an annual dinner that will also be held at Moorhead Recreation Center. That dinner is going to be held April the 18th. Anyone who wishes, they can come out. We're inviting anyone who wants to share. And we're also pushing for our youth summit. The Burns Hill Neighborhood Association is putting on an annual youth summit that's going to take place April the 18th through the 20th. And those just happen to be the same dates as spring break. And so, as always, our youth summit is going to be focused on middle and high school students. And we're talking different subjects over a 3-day period. And the entire summit is going to be run by the kids for the kids. So we're asking anyone, you've got kids, or if you're interested, you can go to Moorhead Recreation Center and fill out an application. Or you can reach out to Mr. Mingo, Jerry Mingo, who is the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association president. He's spearheading this youth summit. And again, it's going to be April the 18th through the 20th. And then we're always looking for new members. Burns Hill Neighborhood Association wanted me to put out a request. Anyone who's interested, of course, you have to live within the neighborhood. But if you're on this meeting, if you can hear us, we ask you guys to come out. Again, we meet the second Monday of each month. We love to get any input that we could from the community.
Okay, thank you.
Robert,
Yep.
I'm assuming that February 14th meeting is open for the Citizens Advisory Council to attend if they wish, or is that more like a private group meeting?
Oh, absolutely. Anyone is welcome to attend the meeting.
Very
And
cool.
Robert, can you again mention what time that is going to be on the 14th?
It's going to be at 6 p.m. and it's going to be at the Moorhead Recreation Center. We've got pretty good social distancing, so we're still asking everyone to at least wear masks. But yeah, Jessica, CAC members definitely come out. Any members, want to visit, there's something interesting to talk about at the Burns Hill Neighborhood Association. So please.
All right, thank you so much. Are there any other questions for Robert?
Robert, what was that date again? I'm sorry.
It's February the 14th for the Neighborhood Association meeting. And then April the 18th, we have our annual dinner. And I'll have to check with Mr. Mingo because I believe it's open to the public. I'm not sure about the details, but it's still in the planning stages. So, but that's April 18th. And then the youth summit is April the 18th through the 20th.
Okay. So the 14th, guys, the 14th is on a Monday. February 14th is a Monday, okay?
Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is.
Bring your dates to the Burns Hill meeting.
I think that's what Mr. Sims is trying to say.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sims. All right, any other updates?
Well, I would go with the ones that I know about. Unfortunately, Megan was going to give that update, but because of VITA, she got pulled in tonight to go to one of the sites because we were short a person. So I don't have her report, but I'll just report on what I know. The Highland Mills community is not meeting. I think I mentioned to you guys last month that the president has resigned as of December the 31st. And so we're just really trying to figure out, who the next person is going to be. That is a very, that neighborhood has a lot of older people in that neighborhood. And so it's just sort of hard right now trying to get someone to step up and be the president for that neighborhood association. Persian Street has not met, and they don't know when they're going to meet because of the pandemic. And we have a couple of neighborhoods in that same situation. Macedonia at this point does not have a president. And so we will be hopefully looking sometime in the spring of the year to try to go back out if the pandemic eases up on us a little bit, and try to recruit somebody and recruit people for the Macedonia Association. I have no report on Southside. West End Ministries, they're planning on starting something back up in the spring, and it all depends on the pandemic. London Woods, they're meeting via phone. They have stopped in-person meetings, and so they are actually meeting via phone. They have done a couple of giveaways to the homeless population. I think they've done 2 so far, where they've gathered clothing and coats and stuff of that nature, and set up to actually give that away to the homeless individuals. They're actually trying to put together a directory of all African-American businesses. And so they're working on trying to pull that together at some point. And so that's one thing that they're working on. I don't have a report for Washington Street. I do not have a report for Washington Terrace. Washington Terrace has not met since the pandemic, and they fall into the same situation. They don't know when they're going to actually meet. And we need to sort of refocus and reorganize on the Haley Historical Neighborhood Association, but we probably will not do anything until things slow down, a little bit with the pandemic. And Aurel, I guess you will give a update on Oakview.
Yes, ma'am. So for Oakview, right now we had met a couple weeks ago via Zoom. So we're meeting via Zoom right now. We're contemplating, and again, it all is all based on the variant. Right now, our February is also going to be set up for Zoom, but we're looking at hopefully either March or April that we can meet in person. So the meetings that we've had so far, we planned out the year. So right now we currently have plans for National Night Out. We have the plans for the domestic violence, as well as our neighborhood cleanup. I will have more information next month, because right now, the last meeting that we had, which was, we met last week, and then we met again at the end of the week, and we're looking to make some changes because we want to add some new stuff for Oakview community area. So I'll have an update next month of what we're actually going to be doing for everyone. Are there any other updates? Any questions? Okay. All right, let's move on. Next on the agenda for old business, CDBG.
Okay. I'll talk about the new grant system that's coming up, and then I'll sort of give you an update on all the other grantees.
Yes.
For the 2022-23 grant season, we have started to do something a little bit different. We're working with Neighborly software to actually be able to have the grantees to enter their information through the Neighborly system, which we're hoping is going to make it a little bit more efficient and effective for us and for them to provide information. And so at this point, we have been trained, and we have gone through and given them information that they need to build the system for us. And we will actually be going through a demonstration on February the 2nd, just staff, so that we can make sure that we understand and we know how all the mechanics work with that new system. And we're hoping that everything works out pretty good. And so if that is a go for us, then we'll have someone from Neighborly to come and talk to you guys, because you guys are going to be involved in this when it comes down to scoring. And so you're going to need to know how to go into the system and what you need to do with that process. And so they will either come to our, I think it's February or March's meeting. I'll just have to figure out which one we talked to them about, to go through the system with you, so that you will understand whenever it's time for you to go in and review the applications and score the applications, how you need to go about doing that. And so that's going to happen. We're going to actually have our orientation or information session with agencies on February the 4th. And someone from Neighborly will also come in and go through that process with them so that they can ask questions and they'll know exactly how they need to enter their data into the system. And we're hoping that this is going to be a lot better than the way that we're doing it now. And so that's where we are in terms of that particular grant.
Michelle,
Yes.
I will say I completely understand that there's lots of other schedules to consider. But because of how early market is this year, market's actually April 2nd, I will probably miss the March meeting. So if it's an easy fix, I would love it if Neighborly could do something on the February meeting, but I completely understand.
And
if that's not
Jessica,
the
I
case.
think it might be February that, but right now, I don't know if it's March or February, but I think it might be February that we had asked them to come in. I just have to go back and look at my notes. And so I'll let you guys know if it's the March or the February meeting. But if they do come in March, we will actually record that session. And so you can actually look at the tape, Jessica, if it is in March.
Perfect.
Okay, any questions about the 2022-23 grant cycle?
Yes, I just got one question, Michelle. So has the ones that are applying for the grants now for the RFP, would we or would you be entering that into the new system, or would it still be up to the ones that are seeking the grants to enter into that new system?
The ones that are seeking a grant will be entering their data into the new system.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
And I am excited, to be honest with you, about the system and really how it's set up. And it's going to make our job a lot easier. And I think it's going to make the grantees' job a lot easier in putting data in there and making sure that they have the correct information into the system. And I think it's going to make your jobs a lot easier going through the system and being able to look at the grant information. And there's a portion in there that if you guys want to print out copies and review those, you can do that too. But I think it's going to just make your job a lot easier than having to go through a lot of paper copies or PDF type copies and that type of thing for you to be able to do what you need to get done. And so I am really, excited about, what we're getting ready to do with that new system.
I too. It sounds pretty good. And I can see us being able to probably go through it even quickly or more quickly than we would normally.
Right. And Nina is already very familiar with the system because our housing team actually does that. And so, she had been talking about us possibly, getting our division to come in and do some stuff in Neighborly too. And so now, we feel like it's the time to get it done. And, I think we're excited about that.
Yes, that sounds good. Any other questions for Michelle on this new system?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. You got the floor.
Thank you, sir. That system is called Neighborly.
Yes.
Okay. And what's the deadline for submitting an application, an RFP? I'm sorry.
Their deadline is March the 4th.
Okay. And if someone wanted to submit an application, where would they go?
Well, I will be sending out some information to our grantees. It's already been put in the newspaper already what they need to do on doing that, but they need to actually be able to look, and I'll send you guys a copy of the press release that we did, but they need to be able to join us on the call on February the 4th at 2:00 if they're interested, because this is a little different than what we've done in the past. They need to know how to be able to go into the system and enter the grant. If they have any questions, they feel free to give me a call at 336-883-3685.
That was 6685?
3685.
3685. 883-3685. Okay. Thank you.
And Michelle, I actually had another question with what you just said, the deadline being March 4th. Is that what you said? That March meeting, that I just said that I probably miss, is that when we would be, with this new neighborly system and it being a little bit more automated, I assume we'll still maybe have a meeting to kind of go over things, or will I kind of miss when, I want to make sure I don't miss any important meetings where we like approve grants or vote on things together as a group or anything like that. What kind of timeline are we looking at after that?
I don't think you will miss anything because their deadline is March the 4th. We're going to have to go in the system and actually do some things in the system ourselves.
Okay.
And so shortly after that, we'll be moving forward to do what we need to do. You guys are going to actually have to go into the system and review the grants and then score the grants before, the decision is made on who you guys are recommending to receive the grant.
And Nina, can I add something here too? One of the things, Mr. Chair, that Michelle and I had spoken about is that if it works for the CAC, we may have to have either an additional meeting or a called meeting because we are a little bit behind schedule because we do want to get this new system in place for this round. So we're probably running about, I would say 45 days, yeah, almost 2 months behind what we normally would, because we will need to have those agencies selected by the time we get ready to do our action plan, which of course is due in May. And so when we get ready to do the action plan and put that draft out, we normally have a good idea of who those agencies that you all are going to recommend for approval. We normally know who those are, and we're including that in our presentations when it goes to the CD committee and to council for the public hearings.
Okay, thank you so much.
We may need to try to work something in that works for the group.
Right.
Okay.
And I was going to say, especially for those that are new, last year, of course, because of the pandemic, actually 2 years now, because of the pandemic, unfortunately, we had to have meetings outside of what we were doing normally to get a lot of these grants out and people approved for grants. So we will do what we have to do, as a panel to make sure we can get things done. I know how things are running behind, especially with a new system, trying to get things and all the bugs out. But I'm pretty sure the CAC here, we will do what we need to do to make sure that we get the neighborhood what is needed and what's missing. Are there any other questions, guys? I just have one more question for Michelle. The meeting that you're gonna have for February 4th, for those that will be those that are interested in setting, in this grant, is that going to be via Zoom? I know you had mentioned they're going to be sent some. I guess they're going to have an individual link to Zoom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And Dr. Jackson, did you have a question? I saw your hand.
Oh, I just had it up to my face like this.
Oh, I got it.
I can't get trained on the new system.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. All right, I think that's it, Michelle.
Okay.
Excuse me, just to reiterate, that deadline is March the 4th.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I also wanted to talk to you guys about agency reports. Next month, we will have the agencies to do their written reports to you guys to tell you where they are in terms of their grants. We will have like 3 different sets that we're going to be working with, which is the CV ones that are still out there. The current, well, it's only 2, I'm sorry, and the current grants that we're working on, 21-22. Year 21-22. And so they'll have their written reports to you guys. We will actually submit them to you prior to the meeting so that you can already have reviewed them. And if you have any questions at that time, we can talk about them at that time, or you guys can submit questions to me that I need to get information from the agencies on.
That sounds good. Any questions from the panel for this one here? Any questions, guys? On the agency reports, any questions? Okay, all right, go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, VITA is our next topic. As everybody know, that's volunteer income tax services that we do for anybody that has a household income of $57,000 or less. We kicked off our VITA sites on, well, VITA kicked off on the 24th. We actually opened up our first site on the 25th. At this point, it doesn't appear that we're having any real issues. We got volunteers. We could use more, but we do have enough volunteers right now to be able to staff the sites that we had. We had to drop 2 sites, which is Macedonia had 2 times that they were going to do VITA, and there are in like from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And so on that Monday, we had to drop that site because we had no one to be site coordinators for that particular site, because, you know, people do work, and that's the only time that we could actually use the facility is between that time frame, because they were not opening it up at night anymore, you know, because of the pandemic. And so, but we do have a site at Macedonia, and then we had to drop a morning site at the YWCA because it's in the mornings, and again, people work. And so we didn't have someone to actually be able to run that site, you know, during the mornings, or preparers to be able to do it during the mornings. And so at this point, we have sites open at Macedonia, at the YWCA, at the High Point Library, at the ARC, at West End Ministries, and Community Development and Neighborhood Division. And so those are the ones that we have sites open to, and I'm sorry, in GTCC, both High Point and Jamestown. And so the GTCC sites are actually in-person sites. The Jamestown site is, but they are following the CDC guideline, and people are required to have masks. And the ARC is a in-person site, semi in-person and drop off. All the other sites are drop off sites that we're working at. And I would tell you, we started taking appointments on Monday, and we are already out. One site is already out to April, and the other site is actually out until, the rest of the sites are actually out until like the end of March. And so, you know, we're not being able to take as many people as we normally do because of spreading out, because of the pandemic, and not really having enough volunteers, you know, to use more computers where we can. And so, but that's where we are, and everything seems to be going pretty well. And Megan is not here, but I must pat her on the back because she came in here not knowing anything about VITA, and she set up the site, and everything is running really smooth, and she's probably stressing out, but she's doing a good job at doing what she's doing. And so I have to give her kudos for that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Any questions on VITA?
So I got a question. Well, I got 2 questions. So first, Michelle, if there's anyone that wants to volunteer for those open positions, how will they do that?
They can contact Megan Scales at 336-883-3042. If they can give her a shout out, then she will be able to, you know, set them up, you know, to do whatever needs to be done. At some point, we'll have a cutoff, you know, since we're just now starting, but at some point we have a cutoff because it will be too late to get somebody trained and get somebody in.
And then my second question for you, Michelle, is for those that out there in the community that needs the help, when are what are the hours and the days, the schedule itself?
I know you were going to ask me that, and I don't have that pulled up.
Okay.
But by the end of this meeting, I'll have it pulled up and be able
Okay.
to tell you what that is.
No problem. Thank you. And I will actually be joining y'all this weekend. I believe Mr. Sims, I believe you're also will be joining and helping with VITA. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other CAC members as well? If y'all have time and want to join, please contact Megan and let her know, and she can give you the details on how to sign up. All right. Any other questions concerning VITA? Okay. All right, Michelle. Whenever you're ready, you can go with your next item.
Yeah, the next topic will be Nina. Jason wanted us to bring this back, but then he's not here.
Yeah.
So I'm not really for sure exactly what it was that he wanted Nina to talk about again. And so I don't know if anybody else had anything on that, but Jason was the one that wanted us to bring that back. And if he's not here, then it might be that we find out exactly what it is that he needs, because she gave that presentation at the last meeting. And so I'm not really for sure what it was that he wanted.
Yeah, I agree, because I'm not sure exactly. And you're right. Nina did an extensive presentation on it. And I know he mentioned it at the end, but again, without knowing what specific questions it will be, I wouldn't want you, Nina, to redo the whole thing again.
Well, if anybody else has any questions,
Sure.
I can certainly share as much as I know.
Right.
Because we really have not gotten that process underway at this point. So yeah, but I'm certainly happy to answer any question.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that's online or even here on the panel, if you want, you can always go back to December because it's recorded. So you can look at the live stream and see Nina's presentation as she gave on the home -ARP and the funds and everything associated with that. Okay. All right.
And
all right.
If it's okay, no, I'll do this on an evening. Well, this is sort of like old business too.
Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
I gotta, well, I'll give a backdrop to this. Communities and schools, we gave them a grant for 2020-22. And since that time that we've given them the grant, they have had leadership change. And so in doing the leadership change and with the pandemic and them not being able to go into the school system like they had originally planned to do with the grant that we actually approved for them, they have come back and asked if they could actually do a scope of a service change. To do before was to do a leadership development and education program for youth from low to moderate income households. And they wanted to connect the youth with the web developer so them to receive training on strategic planning, coding, and doing web type designs. But because of the pandemic and them not being able to be allowed to be in the school systems to do what they want to do, they want to change their scope of service where they will be doing a mentoring and life skill program that they want to do as far as after school. But what they want us to fund in that program is to cover the rental van, gas, and maintenance that it will take to drop the participants off, doing the after school program. And it will probably go maybe a little bit into the summer, not really for sure. And to do awards and incentives and refreshments and to pay for a fee for them to attend this particular program. And so that's what they're asking the CAC to approve their scope of service change. And so that's what I bring before you tonight.
My
All right,
apologies. May I have the name of that organization again, please?
Communities and schools.
Community and Schools. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. So members, this is, and I do remember this when they did their presentation. So here's the question, guys, because I'm pretty sure we haven't seen the scope. So just discussion, guys. What do you think?
I do have one question.
Yep,
You know,
go
they're
ahead.
not allowed in the classrooms currently. So I guess, but students are allowed to attend this? It sounds like it's in person. Is it because it's the student's choice that they're allowed to attend this, or?
I am pretty sure that it's an after school program. So students are attending after school programs at different locations. And I think their after school program is going to be at their location for students that are interested in attending this particular program.
So what's going on, Jessica? Because I work in the school system as well for Guilford County. So right now, currently, they're not taking visitors, if you will, into the schools. However, if you are part of the school itself, or Guilford County, you can go into the school. But that being said, because communities in school is not part of a school or part of Guilford County, any meetings that they have with students in person have to be off-site. It cannot be at the school itself.
And so what I will do for you guys, you've seen the old scope of services because you approved the grant.
Right.
And so what I will do is to send you what I have gotten from them so that you can read it. I will also send you a copy of the old scope so that you can also see that. And then you guys can vote via email as to what your preferences are. And if you decide that you don't want to go with this, please write in, your email back to me what your reasons are so that I can, talk to the agency about it.
Is there any way you could find out what type of transportation that they're going to be using because of the bus issue in Guilford County?
They said that they're going to have a van. That's one of the things that they want us to do, is to be able to pay for a rental van.
Or a rental van. So they're hoping to have a small group.
A small group of people. They're at least wanting to work with at least 50 students.
One van during the pandemic?
I don't know. They just said pay for a rental van. I don't know if it's going to be more than one van, or if they got other transportation and they might need a rental van to augment what they already have. I'm not for sure.
Like for those who can't, I get it.
Or it may be that parents will be dropping kids off, or, maybe the school with the bus system, because I don't think these are, I don't know what grades these kids are, because I'm just looking at their request and I don't have all that other information, but that other information I will get as they are filling out what they need to give to me to finish out the grant. So
I know a lot of times communities and schools work with high school. And even with after school activities, Guilford County has started this week, making sure that people who haven't been vaccinated get tested every week. They're doing a lot of, things that have to do with the pandemic that this program might have to partake in. I'm not sure, but they have to do with after school sports and things. So I don't know if that's going to be included. Something they
Right. And we will find out. I believe also as well, Guilford County, I think on the 3rd of February, if I'm not mistaken, they're also gonna get together again and vote as well concerning social distancing and the mask mandate. So that's something else that we'll have to also pay attention to as well.
I think that's what I'm thinking about, that thin line, because
Yeah.
it's communities in school. Is it still going to be umbrella under Guilford County, or since they're not a part of Guilford
Right.
County, will they have to follow Guilford County schools mandate, but they'll have their students? I'm That
Yeah, it could be.
shaped the area for me.
And good points that you're bringing up, Dr. Jackson. So what I suggest is, as we get the information from Michelle, that we look at what was proposed before on the old scope and the new scope, and then we can go ahead and email Michelle all the questions that we have, and then as a group, even if we need to come together, we can after we get all the information, of course, we can get together with Michelle, and as she present those questions, if there are still things in the response from them that is unclear, we can probably vote to see if, hey, do we need to have them, and of course, with the help of Michelle, to have at least a Zoom meeting or something so that they can actually answer the questions to us, if there are questions that are still not clear from the email response back, before we vote on it, of course. All right. Any other questions concerning communities in school and their new request? Okay. All right, Michelle. So whenever you're ready, just send it to us, and then we'll take it from there.
I'll send it to you guys right after this meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other old business? Okay. All right. Let's move to new business. So first, under new business on the agenda is OIAM. Is that you, Nina?
Michelle?
Michelle.
No, I got it. It's Operation Inasmuch.
Yep.
And so, as you guys know, we do Operation Inasmuch twice a year. We just finished up in the fall of the year with Macedonia and the Persian Street Neighborhood Associations. That is where we go out and we do like a one-day bliss to do repairs in neighborhoods where normally people would not have the ability to get the repairs done on their own, because it's low to mod income, most people on a fixed income. And so we go in and we have two agencies that we work with that sort of organizes this in partnership with the city. And we get volunteers from all over, from businesses to different organizations to come in on one day and do repairs around people's homes and at people's homes. The next Operation Inasmuch is going to be, tentative date is April the 30th. And that is going to be the Washington Street Neighborhood Association. It's where we're going to go in and do Operation Inasmuch. And as we get closer, we'll be sending you out information so that if you want to volunteer, that you will be able to volunteer to assist us on that particular Saturday. It's on a Saturday, and you'll be able to participate with us.
All right. Thank you so much. I am looking here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Robert. You got the floor.
Thank you, sir. If someone is in need of repair, how would they be able to contact Operation Inasmuch? And if they're in that area, Washington Terrace?
If they're in that area and they need it, what's going to happen is there will be letters to go out to the homeowners in that particular area. And the letters will have all the contact information in it, and flyers will also go out to the people that they need to contact, because there's an intake process that has to take place. And when they connect with the agency, which is Community Housing Solutions, then what's going to happen is they will do an intake, and then they will qualify the person, as to whether they qualify or don't qualify for the program. And all that information will come through them that way. But there will be letters going out, and there will be flyers that are actually going out. Housing Consulting Group will go out and do some door knocking to every homeowner in that particular neighborhood to give out flyers and tell them about the program. At some point, it all depends on how we are with the pandemic. There might be a meeting somewhere in the Washington Street area to just talk to families about that. But if not, it would be through the door knocking, through the letters, and through the intake process. And if they want more information before they get to that level, they're going to receive those documents, then they can call us at the city, and we will be able to answer whatever questions that they may have. They can give me a call at 336-883-3685, or they can call the main number at the Community Development and Housing, which is 336-883-3349. 3349, I'm sorry.
3349. And we're hoping that we can get the letters, hopefully will go out next week. I think that's the goal. And I know that in the past, we have had some people sort of question the legitimacy of it. But I'm hoping that at this point, because some communities were coming back around for the second time, and so people are a little bit more familiar with it. But if you do get any questions or hear anyone questioning whether or not it's fraudulent or anything like that, please, do encourage them to reach out and just get more information about it. But we do hope those letters will go out at some point next week.
All right. Any other questions from the group? All right. I know it just seemed like it's been forever. Now that I think about it, the last In As Much that I was part of was October 2019.
Probably right.
We had one in the fall, and Dr. Jackson was a part of that.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, that is right. That is right. Yep. I'm sorry. That is right. I forgot about that one.
That you missed it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, I think I had a meeting or something and I could not make that one. That is right. That is right. So thank you.
Really, really fun.
Right. And like I said as well, for those of you that's part of the CAC, if you can clear your schedule for that Saturday, and right now again it's tentative on April 30th, please volunteer, because, and I know Dr. Jackson mentioned it, you not only do you feel a part of the neighborhood and doing something for your neighbor, but you really see how appreciative they are. I mean, they are really appreciative, for you helping and volunteering and the work that's being done, in their home.
And we do
Very
have the
quick
final
question.
video too. I'm sorry, Jessica.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry.
We have the final video for the last one too.
Oh,
And
good.
so we'll get that emailed out to you all as well, so you can see that. It's a very good video. The company did a great job again on the video, so we'll send that out to you.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Jessica, you had something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask. I thought I heard both at one point, but I could have just misheard it. Was it Washington Street or Washington Terrace specifically?
This one is Washington Street Neighborhood Association.
Okay.
But there is a Washington Terrace also,
Terrace
but we
right by
won't
it.
be doing Washington Terrace.
Okay.
We're not doing Washington Terrace.
Okay. This is Washington Street. Okay.
Is Washington Terrace apartments, or is it?
No, it's a neighborhood association. It is a community where we have partnered with Habitat, which is our Chodo, to actually build houses out there. And I think, Nina, what is it, 27 or so more new houses that's been built in that particular area?
Yes, right around that number. You're correct. 27, 28, something like that.
Right, and it's down in the area right near
Hoskins.
Washington Terrace Park.
Like where looks like Washington turns into Gordon at some point?
Yes.
Yeah. I got the Google Maps up, but
Yeah. It's right there at Hoskins and Brooks,
Mhm.
Davis, right in that particular area. That's where Washington Terrace is.
okay. Cool. I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you. All right, Michelle, I guess you can go ahead with your next new business.
The next item is Community Development Week, which is April the 18th through the 22nd. That's National Community Development Week. And as you guys recall, you participated in that last year where we did a Zoom week-long Community Development Week, which I thought was really a great opportunity for everybody to participate and learn about what the agencies do and how we support them with the dollars that we get from HUD, with our CDBG funds, our public service funds, our home funds, and so that people will know exactly what it is that we're doing and how the agencies are using those funds. Haven't gone through the planning process yet. Don't know what that's going to look like this year, but that's coming up, and I just wanted you guys to be able to put it on your calendar.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you so much. And
April this year is or April market this year is April 2nd.
that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Jessica. Yeah.
So like we keep saying all these like late April dates that I normally wouldn't get to participate in, but it's so early. I keep getting excited of all the stuff.
Okay. And also for our new CSC members, last year what we did is we took part as CSC for each day. We volunteered some time to host the meeting. And so whether it was moderating or whether it was being a part of the panel to get the questions from the citizens and relay those questions in the meeting to the panelists that were presenting, we took part in that. So, I would say, as Michelle said, mark your calendars, because it will be great as well this year that as a CSC itself, that we can also participate like we did last year. All right. Any questions for concerning the Community Development Week? Any other questions?
Week again, April.
Yes, it is April 18th to the 22nd.
Yes.
I have it here on my calendar. I am putting it in as tentative for now. Okay. All right. All right. Are there any other new business? Okay. All right. Up next on the agenda is community development and housing updates. Nina, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just wanted to update you on just a couple things. First thing being the winter shelter white flag initiative. We did report before that we had requested an amendment to our action plan to use some of our CARES Act funds to fund that initiative this year, and that was approved at the beginning of the month. So we're working with the Salvation Army, West End Ministries, and Open Door Ministries to provide additional beds for the homeless. And on those nights, I forget the exact temperature because I've heard a couple different things, but white flag is basically when the temperature drops before a certain level that they'll open up those additional beds during the winter. And this month we've had some really bad weather events to occur. So we've really just been trying to work really diligently with them in trying to get those beds online and get things going in that respect. So we did allocate, it was $162,000 for that out of our CARES Act funds. So I'm just glad. I tell you, I don't know about, I think everybody is really concerned about the homeless at this point. And I know that as far as I would say county-wide, it has gotten to be a pretty big issue, because we know that in the coming months, the COVID hotel, I believe the contract is going to actually expire for that. So the county, the city of Greensboro, High Point, we're all trying to work together to see, as far as other facilities and things like that, what can be done, looking at, resources and pooling resources to try to come up with some solutions. So it's not just the winter, shelter or initiative that's causing issues. But again, we have the COVID, the pandemic issues still going on. And of course, the evictions, I think we have maybe touched on that in the past, but with evictions, we don't have enough affordable housing. So it's just gotten to be a really trying time within our community. And Michelle, I do believe there was a new task force that has been created to look at that specific issue when we talk about that hotel closing and just looking at some other options within the community. The other thing that I was just going to mention, there was a special meeting on January 18th that was before the city council meeting. And one of the presentations that was done was, of course, on the city's American Recovery Plan funds. And we get a lot of questions about, has the city decided what they're going to do? And I think too, because we look at our neighbors, we know that Greensboro, Guilford County, that they've put funds on, basically they've put funds on the street, so to speak, and they have application processes in place. But High Point, we still aren't quite there. Based on the presentation, it was really an overview of just some of the topics that were discussed at their public meetings, the citizen participation meetings that they had. And so it was basically just summarizing some of the information. I mean, there was everything from affordable housing to infrastructure to economic development. We have just a lot of concerns in the community, of course. And so those were some of the things that were just presented to council. There still is not a plan that I'm aware of. There was nothing presented at that special meeting, but there is not a plan as to how those funds will be used or how agencies or individuals can actually tap into those funds. There's not been an application process or anything released. The one thing that was said is that the city will be allowed to use a certain portion of the funds to basically cover any losses or things of that nature. And so I think that when they looked at that percentage, what would actually be available, maybe roughly 10 to $12 million out of the $22, $23 million that the city's gotten. So roughly half of it. So those were some of the things that were just discussed and presented at that special meeting to council, but no real plan presented or anything at this point.
And thank you.
You're welcome. And I don't know if anybody has any questions or if there's anything else you want us to get any additional information on or anything like that. But those are just a couple of the big things that are kind of going on.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Rob. You got the floor.
What are the city's next steps? Are they planning to hold more meetings? Is there something that they've, working towards? Because I'm just kind of wondering if there's money set aside for emergency or economic recovery, how much of that can we go to the city and ask if we get more money for these neighborhood associations and some of the monies that we have through the CDBG grant?
Okay, as far as what's going to be made available for agencies or just individuals or anything like that, like I said, an application process, nothing has been released. So I have no idea how much of that of those funds will be made available to the public. As far as next steps, it's basically, from what I could gather from the meeting, is that it is going to be the managers, them meeting, coming up with some proposals based on the information that they got from those public meetings to look at projects, programs, things like that, based on the input and the feedback that they received. And then those, of course, any projects or proposals that they have would go to council for further discussion and evaluation. But as far as dollars, like I said, I can't say. I know that just as far as reimbursables to the city for lost revenue, I believe they could use up to about 12 million, maybe, I think was the number. And so that's why I say I think it's roughly about half that may be left for other projects.
Is there an opportunity that we at the CAC could ask for an increase in the award amount that we give away each year?
Okay, we're kind of looking at, those are two different things. So you're talking about the CDBG funds. We don't know what our CDBG allocation will be for next year. We have not gotten those letters or anything like that. If we look at the money, when we talk about CARES money or recovery money, for the home program, the department, we received the home ARP, the home ARP funds. Those funds, public services activities, that is not something that is eligible under the home program. We do that under CDBG. And what we do still have, of course, is with that second allocation of the CARES Act funds that we received under CDBG, we do still have roughly about $400,000. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do the math in my head. It's like 588 less what we just did for the winter shelters, which was 162. So when we did the amendment and we brought that before you all, we wanted to allocate that for a public facilities project. We wanted to basically see if there was a project or something that, whether it be purchase a building to help with like a homeless day center or something like that. It's just that at this point, no facility has been identified. That's really been the issue, is we just have not identified a site. And of course, I think you all know that they've looked at the Brentwood School, they looked at the church on Brentwood. So there have been a couple of facilities that were considered, just not sure at this point where we're going to land when it comes to that homeless day center, because both of those facilities need quite a bit of funding. They need quite a bit of repairs to make them actually work, as far as a homeless day center or a shelter or anything like that. So we do still have some of the CDBG CARES Act funds that we have not committed to a project, but it has been, I'll say, set aside or allocated for public facilities. We have not done anything with the home ARP monies. And just a quick, I guess I'll say quick recap on that is, with home, what they're really looking at with this funding is that we develop programs and projects that will assist those that are considered to be the most vulnerable in our community, which are homeless families and individuals, or those that are at risk of homelessness, our veterans, those that are at 30% and below AMI. So you're really looking at programs and projects that need to be heavily subsidized because we know that individuals will not be able to contribute. I'm sorry. And as far as the city's ARP funds, again, just there have not been any plans or projects presented for those funds.
Are they going to make it known that the amount that the community is aware of has changed? So when they come to those meetings, the requests fit,
Yes, whenever they make an announcement, whenever they do actually make an announcement, they will make those funds, they will make that number known, or that amount. Yes.
And I have a question about the homelessness in the community. I'm volunteering for Point in Time. We couldn't go out this week because the weather and just too cold.
The pandemic.
Would there be information shared? I mean, it's been postponed to February 23rd, but
Yes.
like the white flag information, are we going to share? Is there going to be a way that we can share that is possible to the homeless community?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Michelle, if you want.
I was going to say the white flag information, I think probably should already be out there. I mean, people are calling those shelters. We have the 3 shelters that Nina talked about: Salvation Army, Open Door Ministry, and West End. Salvation Army is for families. Open Door Ministry is for women.
Yeah.
And Open Door Ministry is for men, and Leslie's house that's at West End is for women. And I think the information has already been put out there, that they are open, to assist people through the white flag.
And I can add too, as I did when we started working on contracts and we sort of have gotten the approvals, we made sure that Partners Ending Homelessness knew what was going to be available as far as the bids, the agencies, because they are the coordinated entry lead for the continuum of care. So they are the ones that actually get the calls and things like that. We do want everyone to go through that coordinated entry process. And so Partners Ending Homelessness, they are aware that funds are available, that the beds are being made available. So I did email Brian Hahn myself to let him know that those bids would be available.
That's who we partner with to go out and do the surveys, I think.
Yes, for the point in time, yes.
Homelessness, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions for Nina? Okay. All right, Nina, you got anything else to share?
No, I think that is everything. Michelle, can you think of anything that I've forgotten?
I think we've covered everything.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Nina.
Mhm.
All right. Next on the agenda, of course, is city council updates. And I do not see Councilman Jefferson. Is there anybody on the panel that has any updates from city council to share? Okay. All right, we'll just move forward. Hopefully next month we can, get an update from them. Next on the agenda are announcements. So who would like to share any announcement? I guess, Jessica, let's start with you concerning High Point City, the market. You're muted, Jessica.
There we go. Normally I can hold down the space bar and it works, but it isn't that time. Market is April 2nd through the 6th. I actually just chatted the whole entire group that when Robert asked me that individually. So if everyone's like, why did she send that? That's why, because I didn't realize I was chatting everybody. But market is April 2nd through the 6th. We'll definitely be having it, COVID and things like that. Obviously, we've had a few markets now with COVID, so that shouldn't affect anything. Market is very early this year. So I've mentioned I'm a little end of March, middle of March. I'll be somewhat unresponsive, but I'm still here. Some of those later April dates for some of these opportunities, like Operation Inasmuch, I feel like I can never participate in that because of the way market aligns. So I'm super pumped about that. While my workload, because market is earlier, is depressing. I'm very excited about being able to participate in that. So market should be good.
So
But, go ahead.
I got a couple questions for you, Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
First off is, you said market is April 2nd to the 6th. That is only 9 weeks away.
I know.
Okay. So I was going to ask, my first question to you was, are there anything that y'all are doing differently since it's pushed up earlier? 9 weeks being now, from now, is there anything that you're doing to prepare for market being that early in April?
We're doing tons of things, normal stuff as regards to COVID, which I think maybe is that what you're meaning? We pretty much leaned on Guilford County or North Carolina kind of recommendations for what we're doing for market. So I think, the beginning of the pandemic, we did lots of temperature checks. We extended market dates so we could better social distance, sanitized things every spare moment we had, etc. As we kind of get a little bit more used to the pandemic, we're definitely just kind of leaning on whatever state or county requirements, things like that there are. So at the moment, we're really not doing too much different other than, just reminding everybody that comes that masks are definitely required per Guilford County at the moment. And I don't foresee that going away as we get closer to market. But who knows? But, we always enforce what the current guidelines set are. In regards to like international and attendance, obviously attendance is still not back to normal. You know, we're still down, and I think we'll continue to be down as the pandemic continues to be a thing. Part of the furniture industry too, supply chain is a huge issue. So whether you're concerned about COVID or not, you may not have product to sell because it's stuck on a boat X amount of weeks out. So, you know, that's definitely a factor that goes into market. We definitely, you know, won't be full capacity or anything like that. International still continues to be very low attendance compared to what we've had in the past before COVID. We're really only seeing Canada and Mexico attend right now. Very little or nothing from other countries. So we don't necessarily see that changing for April market either.
Okay, thank you. You actually, my next question you had answered, because I was going to say, I remember last year, of course, because of the pandemic, it was late. I think it was June, correct? Last year. And
we did move it to June so we could be better. We were hoping the vaccine would be better circulated or out by the time June market came along. And so that's why we did that. And, you know, we were right. We were able to have a better market than we would have had in April at that time. But now that the vaccine's been out for a while, boosters are out, et cetera, we won't be moving dates or anything like that. To respond to the pandemic, more just enforcing whatever local guidelines are set by the local health officials.
Okay, thank you so much, Jessica. Are there any questions for Jessica concerning the market, High Point market? Okay, all right. Any other announcements?
I have a couple
Okay,
announcements. Tomorrow is the food summit. I think I've talked to you guys about the food summit. It starts at 8:30. It goes from 8:30 to 12 or 12:30. It is a food summit, but it's really centered around poverty. And there's 5 different topics. And I think we've talked about those at a previous meeting. And so I think it's going to be, if you can join, I think it's going to be a really good opportunity to learn about things that's happening in High Point. But that's tomorrow starting at 8:30. It was going to be an all-day event. I think the last time I talked to you guys, it was going to be in person, but because of the pandemic, it has changed to being virtual, and it's half a day now versus an all-day event. The second announcement that I have is United Way has partnered with Family Service of the Piedmont, and they're doing a smart money series. And the first group of series will start in February, like from February the 1st to the 22nd. I will send you guys out flyers so that you can share that with other individuals that might want to be a part of a series that they're having. The next thing is project board development, which is something that United Way African American Initiative puts on. And that is where you learn to be able to know about the different boards that you might serve on and learn the information about boards. That is coming up March the 8th through April the 26th. I think everybody on this call, with the exception of Tim, has attended project board development. So Tim, if you are interested in attending project board development, let me know. It is every Tuesday from 6 to 8 o'clock from March the 8th to the 26th. Just let me know. I'll get the information from you and put you into that particular cycle if you're interested in being a part of that. I think everyone else has actually attended project board development that's on the call now. I don't think Jason has attended, and so I'll reach out to him to see if he's interested in actually attending that. And then the last announcement that I have is that Mr. Belton celebrated a birthday this month. And so you guys can sing happy birthday to Mr. Belton, or say hi to Mr. Belton, or happy birthday, or happy belated birthday to Mr. Belton.
Happy
Yes,
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you. There's been a lot of them, but thank you.
That's a good thing. That's a good
That
thing.
sounds good. Just so everyone know, I got a note from Cyril. He's in a meeting, so he was not able to come. But hopefully, like I said, we'll get an update next month. Are there any other announcements?
Would that point in time thing that I'm volunteering for, would that be included in announcements, or it's just something?
Oh, yeah, because they're still looking for volunteers.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that has been postponed to February 23rd.
Okay. Is there anything you wanted to share about that, Dr. Jackson?
I was trained. It's going to be at 6 in the evening on the 23rd, and they're hoping to finish up about no later than 11:30 at night. We're going to go into High Point, Jamestown, and parts of Greensboro, to places where they think people might be tenting, or maybe sleeping in cars, or just parked somewhere, or just out under buildings and in buildings, and kind of survey them. And if they don't want to talk to us, we've been trained to just distantly observe, their race and gender and that kind of thing. If they, don't want to talk to us or don't want to tell us. But if they want to talk to us, we're going to, ask them all the questions we can, like why, what is your situation? That's why I was asking if there were, if there was information about white flag, so we can include that in our conversation. But as she said, they already know about it. So those are the ones that trained us. So, and we're going to take things like, blankets and water, whatever we can.
Yeah, and it's a one-day snapshot of what homelessness looks like in Guilford County, but it's not just Guilford County, it's all over that they do this, that one-day snapshot. And so everyone that is homeless, whenever they are looking in schools, like Dr. Jackson said, in camps, underneath bridges, in shelters, every place. They just do that one-day snapshot for that particular time, individuals that's homeless. And I would also share with you that the Burns Hill Community Pantry donated 100 goodie bags for them to give out to the homeless population whenever this takes place. And they're willing to give more if more is needed. And so they actually put together the bags to be like snack bags and stuff of that nature, that can be given out to individuals that might be out there in those camps or whatever.
And the meeting place is at Jamestown Presbyterian Church. That's where everybody's going to come together and meet at 6 o'clock. If any of you have, decide that, well, they can train you on the spot, but you will have to fill out a form, of course, for volunteering for your safety and everything.
Okay.
And can I just piggyback on that just a little,
Sure.
Of course, thank you, Dr. Jackson, for volunteering to do that, because just to stress the importance of this point in time, because what Dr. Jackson is going to be doing is really needed when it comes to getting the unsheltered count, because you have providers in the schools and things like that. They can get those numbers, but it is the population that is unsheltered that is hardest to reach and hardest to count. And the reason that those numbers are so important is because those numbers are tied to funding. These numbers are reported, nationally. They are reported to HUD. And so when it comes to funding and things that comes into our community, it's important that we have those numbers and that we can really show a need so that we can bring more resources into the community. So that's why volunteers are needed, and we definitely appreciate you doing that.
Yes, and guys, homelessness is a serious issue. And you can ride through High Point You can
Yeah.
start out on Washington Street and just ride through in the evenings and watch people already wrapped up in their blankets, sleeping out for the night. And so you can, like Dr. Jackson was saying, they're going to look underneath bridges. You can ride down and look underneath the bridge where the bridge comes over another road, and there you can see people's beds and stuff in that little cubby place there underneath the bridges. And just any wooded area, pretty much, somebody is probably out there sleeping, in that wooded area. Go all the way down English Road and those places, you're going to see people sleeping for the night because they don't have a place to go. But do understand that there are some people that don't want to go inside a building. And so those individuals will probably stay homeless for as long as they want to. But there are others that do want a warm place, want a warm meal, a blanket, or that type of thing. So it's serious. It's a serious issue.
It's amazing to me because just today, someone that knows that I'm, looking for a spot for my school told me about some land, and I was all excited. I went out there, walked it. It's like 21 acres, you would not believe, right there at 5 Point. And right in the corner, someone's tent. They're just living right there. You just walk down and see it. It's like you would never see it unless you would get out the car and walk, And they said we're going to be going into some woods, that night. So.
Yeah, that's true. Michelle, as you was talking, I was thinking about, it's been cold these last few days, and Anita mentioned it earlier. And of course, this weekend again, we're looking at another cold weekend. So, we need to do something. So every help that we can get, and also information that we can share as well, to those that may be out there. Because, Michelle even mentioned it. There are some folks, they probably gonna want to stay this way, for a long time. But mainly, my concern is for the ones where, no one has reached out. And so they're out there. So if y'all know, even as a community, if we know of someone that's out there that, that needs the help, that's, that we have with all these different programs, please let them know, or let someone know that can get a hold of them and bring them in. Okay. So they're not out there stuck in the street because they did not know of programs like these that can help them.
And I can send you guys the coordinated entry numbers. So if you do have someone, that's where they need to call so that they can actually talk to someone and someone can help them through that process. And so I will actually send you guys that information so that if you are out there and you see someone, that you can actually share that information with them. In some cases, you may just have to make that phone call and let them talk to the person on the other end. But there are programs out there to be able to assist individuals that are experiencing homelessness.
And Michelle, as you were saying that, I actually was just looking up the number. So if I can share that,
yes,
I would like to do
yes,
that.
please.
The number for coordinated entry is 336-553-2716. And that is how anyone that is experiencing homelessness can actually get in touch with someone. Now, the one thing that I do want to say, it is not a hotline. It is not manned. I'll say 24 hours a day. But if you do get a recording, leave a message, and they will definitely get back in contact with you. That is one of the issues that is being discussed across the county as to how this coordinated entry line could possibly be, monitored and serve more as a hotline. But right now, the way that it is a recording, but that is the way to actually access the system, though.
Nina, I'm sorry. Would you repeat that number again, please?
It's 336-553-2716.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Nina, I'm just curious, is the only way for contact this phone number, or is there also a website they can also go on and register?
The phone number.
Okay, got it.
Through the phone number.
Yeah, all right.
And
That's-
Nina, if I'm not mistaken, I think Partners in Homelessness has committed their staff for right now to be able to answer that phone.
24
Mhm,
hours a day.
mhm.
Okay, well, good. That's a new update for me.
Yeah, I
Certainly.
think that's what they discussed this past week,
Okay,
that someone would be there to actually man that phone.
okay.
One question as well, I got another question concerning that. Once they call that number, do you know if there are any way that transportation is set up where they can be picked up?
That is something that they
They
actually
work-
do work with. Yes,
Okay.
work with them
Okay.
to actually do that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna bring up a program as we talk about this that was sent out a couple of weeks ago from Michelle. But there is a program called the USDA Commodities Supplemental Food Program, and it's set up for those that are 60 and older, where they can get groceries every month, free groceries. Is that correct,
Mhm.
Michelle?
Yes.
All right. So so for those that's on here, applications are accepted at the food pantry of the Triad, and that address is 1311 Johnson Street. And it's going to be on February 19th, 2022. Okay. Again, applications are accepted at the food pantry of the Triad at 1311 Johnson Street on February 19th, 2022, and the hours are between 10:30 a.m. and 12 noon.
And Aurel, does it say on that flyer that you're looking at who is sponsored by? I think it's the Baptist Association, I think it is. Does it say?
I believe so. Let me go back through it again. Let's see. It does not say on this flyer, but I do believe it is. It just mentions the USDA Commodities Supplemental Food Program. And I'm just scanning through it again. Let me go back to where, let's see. It is, yes. It is organized by the Piedmont Baptist Association.
Okay. And if you guys can, please pass that flyer around to anybody that fits into that category.
Yes. Totally agree. Will do. The only other agenda item I have concerning announcement is, I know pretty much y'all have heard of all the different big companies that are coming here, like Toyota. And then as well, this week here, there was an announcement about Boom Supersonic that is coming to our area. And so what has been pledged are several hundred jobs to the area. So if anyone in the community is looking at getting work with companies like that, they may want to go ahead and apply or get some information or share the information so that they know that for those two in particular, and I know we have other things happening, as far as jobs here in our local area, to go ahead and share that information so that we can get people to work that are looking for work. Having said that, I know we have Robert Sims, who works as well with his agency that can help those that are looking for work. And so he's another resource that you can use if there are anyone out there. And so having said that, Mr. Sims, would you mind sharing about your company so that those that are listening, if they're looking for work, and just briefly what y'all do and how you can help?
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Chair. And thank you, sir. I work for the Welfare Reform Liaison Project. We are a community action agency, and our focus is on employment training, employment assistance, and emergency assistance. And so we provide a resource for individuals who want to get what we call a quick career. So let's say you want to obtain a CDL license, possibly get into the health field as a phlebotomist or possibly pharmacy technician. We'll send individuals to the training free of charge. And then from there, we assist with working individuals into careers. We partner heavily with the NC Works Career Centers of Greensboro and High Point. The High Point location is on North Main Street. It's actually right here in town. They have wonderful access to jobs throughout the state. And so, you know what, our focus here is just to help people get to a place of self-sufficiency. And we offer them options where they can do that. Again, we also do emergency assistance with rent and utilities. And we also do education assistance. So if anyone out there, they have a young person who's going to college, they're seeking their undergraduate degree, we can also assist with that.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other announcements? All right, well, next on the agenda is adjournment. So is there someone that wants to make a motion to adjourn?
Before
yes.
they do that, are there any agenda items for the next meeting
Oh, thank you.
that you guys would like to talk about? Okay.
Nice. All right. Having said that, unless things change right now, our next meeting is going to be February 24th. Okay. February 24th will be the next CAC meeting. And if there is nothing else to discuss for others, I guess we can adjourn. So do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, there's a motion made by Dr. Kelly Jackson. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, a second is made by Mr. Warren Boone. Okay. All right, is there any discussion? All right, well, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, thank you.
Right.
Thanks,
We
everyone.
will see you all at the next meeting.